Have you ever felt like your brain just doesn't know when to switch off? Like you can't just be present in the moment. You always have to think about who you are, how you're doing, and what everything means. Self awareness is often considered to be a great thing, but it is possible to have too much of it. A lot of our pain comes from the fact that we can't stop thinking about life. Most of our free time is spent thinking about the past, daydreaming, self reflecting, recalling personal memories, and thinking about the future. Animals don't have this problem. If a deer gets scared of something and runs away, it's done. It doesn't sit around thinking, wow, I really embarrassed myself back there. Why am I such a coward? You know those birds that do elaborate dances to impress the female? If they get rejected by 10 such females, they don't sit around thinking maybe I'm ugly or maybe I'm unlovable. They lack this ability to self reflect. This self awareness is a crucial skill, but it can be crippling sometimes. And that's what makes us human. This second layer, thinking about the thinking. Scientists call this metacognition. It's also what allows us to create music, paintings, poetry, and other works of art. But it's also the reason so many of us can't enjoy anything anymore. Because once you can think about yourself, you can also judge yourself. And once you start judging yourself, it's a slippery slope. It never really stops. Your brain becomes this constant narrator that never shuts up. One quote that I think sums this up quite well is this one. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the suffering in our heads comes from our thoughts. If you mess up a few times, instead of just saying okay and moving on, you start telling yourself a whole story behind it. I failed because I'm incapable. Why am I not normal? What is wrong with me? And this is where things get dangerous. Because people who are smart and self-aware, they can justify their pain. They can turn it into logic. They can convince themselves that it's all true, that they're broken, that nobody likes them, and that they'll never get better. They don't feel hopeless for no reason. They feel hopeless and they can explain why. And the worst part is the same thing happens on both sides. The person who thinks they're perfect and the person who thinks they're worthless are both going through the same thing. They're both thinking about themselves, constantly. It's still ego, just pointed in different directions. It's all about me, me, me. They're thinking about themselves all the time. And if you're stuck in your own head long enough, every little situation starts to feel personal. You get rejected a few times and it becomes, I'm not good enough. Someone cancels plans and the story becomes, they hate me. The tiniest things start to feel huge. And you don't even question it. Because it feels like you're just being honest with yourself. But that voice in your head isn't always honest. It's protective. It's emotional. It wants to make sense of the world, even if it has to lie to you to do it. And once that cycle starts, it doesn't end by arguing with yourself. You can't logic your way out of overthinking. You can't outsmart your own mind when your mind is the thing creating the problem in the first place. The real escape isn't fighting the thoughts. It's noticing them. Just noticing. Next time something like that happens, just notice the pattern. Like, oh, that's me spiraling again. That's my brain making a story out of nothing. That's not the truth, that's just noise. The moment you step back and watch, something shifts. You're no longer inside the thought, you're outside it. And once you see that, even for a second, that voice in your head starts losing power. You realize that the voice isn't you. It's just a habit your mind developed. Narrating, judging, worrying, and you don't have to believe everything it says. You don't have to fix yourself before you can live. You don't have to solve every insecurity before you're allowed to be happy. You don't have to constantly monitor who you are and how you're doing. Sometimes you just have to stop being the main character of your own mental documentary and just live. Because the more you stare at yourself, the less you actually see. And maybe the real problem isn't that you don't understand yourself. Maybe it's that you understand yourself too much and trust the voice way more than it deserves. Self-awareness can be a gift, but only when it's balanced with forgetting yourself. Doing things without overthinking them, letting things happen without turning everything into a self-evaluation, letting life be life without constantly checking what it means. You don't need to destroy the ego. You don't need to become some spiritual monk. You just need to stop letting every thought define you. That voice in your head is loud, but it's not always right. And the moment you see that, the moment you stop identifying with every story it tells you, you finally get little peace. Not because life got easier, but because you stop turning every moment into a reflection of who you are. And honestly, maybe that's what real freedom feels like.